What's up, everybody, and welcome in to another edition of Hot Topics presented by Pub Sports Radio. I am your host, the big man on campus. Hope you're having a great Friday. May 1st already, Donnie. May 1st. Seems like April went quick. We're into May. We've got Donnie, we're at the point now where the draft is over. We are, I guess, not in a great position to look forward just because we don't know when it's going to come back. We can only talk about futures so much. But there's an interesting thing that came out this week having to do with the NCAA. Basically, the board of the top governing body of the NCAA said Wednesday that it supports a proposal to allow college athletes to sign endorsement contracts. They would also be able to receive payments for other work like social media channels, camps, things of that nature. What are your thoughts?
It's pretty wild because, I mean, we'll have a fun-spirited conversation on this stuff, but my initial thoughts are the same as you had for the past couple of years, right? Like, don't pay them. This only opens up the wrong doors. And now, Jeff, I'm almost swung completely to the opposite side because I want to see what actually happens once this takes place. And it's simple analysis, Jeff, when we take a look at it, saying it's not so simple as the guy's going to get paid on his likeness. And everybody thinks that if you just sign a contract, or shouldn't say contract, I should say a scholarship athlete goes to school, like they just get paid and they're worth their weight in gold. And as soon as you commit, Jeff, to Northwestern or be Illinois or Notre Dame, that it's a license to print money and you're going to be wanted by everybody, Jeff. I don't think that's going to be the case because let's just take a look at a simple athlete. Forget about the Dukes because we're going to get to those. Let's just say Nebraska, Jeff, right? You're a running back from Central Pennsylvania, 3-star athlete that goes to Nebraska. You can make money, Jeff, on your name and likeness, but you cannot use the university. So my question to you would be, you have a young kid at home, or you're, let's just say, an 8th grader, a high school kid. You really like this running back. Jeff, are you going to buy this running back? Let's just say his name is Mike Smith. I love Nebraska football. He's a great player. Are you going to buy his poster, Jeff, that just says his name, Mike Smith, with nothing associated with your favorite university? Does he have like a hat turned on backwards and just a random like polo shirt? And that's going to make the kid a lot of money, Jeff?
Yeah, I guess it's all going to be at this point about the ingenuity of that person to create some kind of brand, I guess, on his own. Listen, Donnie, I didn't know how I would equate this, but I'm going to equate it to what my mom said to me the other day, okay? My mom said to me, from the day you were born, you don't like change. And I don't. I'm a routine-based kind of guy. And I relate this back into this conversation. Donnie, I don't like change, okay? Because what I see with this kind of stuff is then you start to get into the G League conversation and what they can do to basically poach kids to go play in professional levels as opposed to college. Now, look, do I think a kid should have the choice? Yes. But do I think places should actively recruit and basically offer money, something that necessarily a college can't do legally? No, I don't. And it concerns me on what the future of college sports looks like. But to your question, yeah, I think it's all going to be about the ingenuity and the creativeness of that person to create a brand. We've seen kids create brands and, there's going to be a run. And one thing about this that's interesting is, Donnie, I don't think this only applies to like your 5-star athletes. I think, let's say you're, Joe Smith from, some small town in Iowa. Well, let's say you have a couple thousand people in that town. You can make some decent money putting on a camp every year for those kids in that place because they may not necessarily know who you are in Philadelphia or Miami or LA, but they know who you are in Waterloo, Iowa, So, that stuff's kind of interesting. These niche things can start to be created. There's always the niche market. Kids today love to play lacrosse or soccer or run track. So I think this is going to be a little bit cool for all athletes. I don't think it generally just applies to anyone. You look at, Donnie, the level of ingenuity that YouTube's brought to people where you can create a channel on just about anything. Donnie, the fact now that you can go to prison for a decade, you could come out, create a YouTube channel, and talk about your experiences in prison, and you could make a ton of money doing that. That was unheard of 10 or 15 years ago. If you committed a felony, you were done. But there's new ways now to ingenuitize who you are, and I think stuff like this is cool for just that normal athlete that has the ability and wants to go out and teach maybe a young kid something.
But the normal athlete doesn't, though. Like, because when you let's just say Jeff Okuda from Ohio State, great pick, number 3 overall goes. If I'm at Ohio State last year and I love Ohio State football, I want to buy his jersey. You can't buy his jersey, Jeff, because you can't use the licensing from Ohio
Yeah,
State. So
that's
again, like you're going to go to an auto dealership, Jeff, right? And he's going to have a picture of himself that's not even in Ohio State gear. Is he going to
well.
sign like a glamour shot?
I think this is the NCAA just saying, look, we'll budge a little bit, but we're not going to budge too much. And again, I'm not more or less talking about, the likeness of, I think this definitely hurts people like Jeff Okuda, but then it doesn't because he's going to go and make a lot of money. But that regular person, that regular athlete that's not going to the professionals is going to have to
But
work.
who's paying for that guy, though? Who's paying for the regular guy? I mean, now look, we're talking about that kid, that one kicker from, was it South Florida, I guess? Like,
Yeah.
there are some kids who are really talented and special outside of football and can make money. But the random regular athlete that's insignificant, because a lot of people take it right down and say, what about Alabama football? They're all worth $300,000 a piece. No, they're not.
I'm
The
confident
guy that nobody knows about is not worth anything.
I'm confident, though, Donnie, that you have a lot of kids from small towns in this country that in their towns, we might not know who the hell they are, but in those towns, they're a D1 athlete on a college program. That moves weight for a lot of young kids, no matter who they are. I think they can find ways to make money through camps and things like that. And they can do something, Donnie, that I and you can't do, okay? Like that kicker guy. I can't kick a ball 50 yards, but it'd be fascinating to watch how someone does that. There's a market for everything, Donnie. There are markets for literally anything you want in this country. It's fascinating. But I hear your point. I don't know if it'll be a lot of money, but like I know here, Donnie, in my town where I live now, Lancaster, Pennsylvania, there's a kid. He didn't even go to college, Donnie, but he was really good at a football program in this city. He still to this day does football camps. The guy didn't even do anything with himself, but he still does it, and people still come. So there's people out there that can do things I can't do. And I'll tell you right now, if I had a kid and he liked football, I'd send him to go to that kid's camp. Why not? He knows how to do something that I can't. It'll be interesting to see.
Now, also, when you take a look at that next step level, because I always this is the pushback that comes because I actually, Jeff, to me, I don't care if the kids get paid or not. I honestly don't. If they make $5 million to go play college, that is awesome. That's the American dream. That's what you're supposed to do. But I look at it from what you say, like the changes that are going to come about this. You see people all the time getting so mad. The SEC always gets 2 teams in the college football player. Get ready. They might have 4 teams in the NCAA playoffs because when you take a look at even equated to the college basketball scene, let's just say, Jeff, you have the big shoe companies. Let's just say Under Armour, Nike, and Adidas. We'll use those 3, right? Let's just say Nike says, all right, our trigger school is going to be, and Jumpman, we'll throw that in as well. It's going to be Duke University. Mike Krzyzewski, we've allotted $5 million for you to pay these kids to come to your school, and you'll give them a sponsored YouTube channel by Jeff's Chevrolet. It doesn't matter. We'll front the money, $1 million per person. And then you have Jumpman with Jordan sponsoring, let's just say, Carolina, right? Then you have Under Armour at Notre Dame, and let's just say Adidas, I don't know, Arizona. Are they going to just turn these into flagship schools? Because I tried to turn back to like the Fab Five back in the day, 1992 with Michigan. What happens if Nike just said, hey, guys, you're the Fab Five. They're not even going to Michigan yet. I'm going to pay each one of you $1 million, and we're going to promote you through the year. They're not getting $1 million for a kid, though.
They're not getting $1 million, but they're getting more than Eastern Michigan's getting. I mean, these big schools, I'm sure they're getting more money.
No. I don't care about. No, I'm talking about the players. Like we're going to give Tom Izzo $1 million. Like whoever he wants to go. Hey, look, I got $1.5 million assigned to you. Go get this kid. You can go get him now.
But I think now, though, the problem is with the shoe. The shoe companies are tough because you're always going to have you know what I'm saying. You're always going to have that stuff going on. Mm-hmm. I'm more or less, for me, I get what you're saying. I'm more or less talking about the small school. And Donnie, again, I think it's important to understand there are a lot of, like East Carolina, for instance, Donnie, that's in Greenville, North Carolina, small area. But I think it'd be cool to allow, like, I don't know, Joe's Pizza or whoever to sponsor, that's, I think the kid that at the lower level is going to benefit a lot more than the kids that are at the higher level. And that's where it should be. There should be some kind of
No,
middle.
and I agree, because here's where the hilarity comes in this for the NCAA. They love this, Jeff. Do you remember where they were fighting it before? Why were they fighting it? Because they didn't want the chunk to come out of their money and say, well, hold on. That kid at East Carolina, he's worth $17,000 a year in promotions. We got to pay him through the school, through the NCAA. They don't want to do that. But the funny thing that now creeps into it is they want their cake and eat it too, meaning like, hey, pay all these players. You can pay $30 million. We don't care as long as the NCAA doesn't pay it. But the hilarious part about it is the kid from ECU that if you put a jersey on him, he is known around town like, oh, that's so-and-so that's playing over there. The fact that now the NCAA says, yeah, go ahead and make all the money you want just on your face, but you can't sell a picture of you dunking in a game. You can't show hat. That's ridiculous, because if the kid has his jersey on, Joe's Pizza will be like, you know what? Hell yes. Like,
no,
we can make some money on this, but can you make the money off the kid when he isn't any association to what he actually does?
No, again, man. I mean, I think, again, it's the NCAA just kind of saying, you know what, we'll throw you a little rope, but it's not going to be much. We'll compromise here. Again, Donnie, compromising can go two ways. It could go the really, modified way or the full way. But yeah, you had to figure that wouldn't happen. But this is the NCAA saying, look, we'll do something. We're not going to do a ton. But again, if you're a player out there that lives, and you go to, you're from Waterloo, Iowa, and you go to Iowa and play, I don't know, whatever you do, fencing. Let's say you're a fencer. You can create classes now, and you could teach kids how to fence, or you could teach
and your point is very valid on that. The guy that, like, because we always swing for the fences, right? Well, who's going to make $3 million like Zion would, or say something at Nike? It might just be like, hey, he comes home for his 2 weeks in the summer, has a camp, and picks up $5,000 and heads back to campus, right? Like, that's legitimate and fair. But the fact that the NCAA says, hey, you can sell your face all you want, you just can't use anything you're associated with.
Let me ask you one thing.
Like, if you're a pro, like if you're Carson Wentz, right? I love Carson Wentz. We love Carson Wentz. My kid loves Carson Wentz. Does she want a Carson Wentz jersey, which she won't be able to buy? Or does she want a poster of Carson Wentz, like, fishing without Eagles gear? No, it's hilarious.
But does this mean, well, Carson Wentz is a little different. He's a knowing, we know who he is.
Would your kid want a poster of him actually playing quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles in an action photo, or just in some random car?
That's weird for sure. Does this mean that, like, so let's say you go to East Carolina and Joe's Pizza decides to sponsor you.
Yes.
Does this waive the whole, like, impermissible benefit thing where?
Yes, it does. Yes, there's no more impermissible benefits, because here's what's going to take place when we talk about that, because those kids can do it, but the competitive balance of anything, right? Because when you go to the big schools, like, the boosters are crazy in the SEC. I just don't want everybody to get angry, and specifically also in college basketball, that these blue bloods have, outright hammer teams that are just destruction and terror, and there's only 10 of them. I just don't want to hear that concept of, well, this isn't wrong, or now the women need to get this amount. Look, if you're going to have a mercenaries in sports, I'm okay with it, because I think we can both agree. We love the tournament, Jeff, but if we had our druthers, I would like to see the top 10 teams in the final, Sweet 16, right? We want to see that. I just don't want to hear about the competitive balance dropped off. I don't want to hear any complaints.
I think the NCAA tournament is perfect. I don't think there needs to be any changes. If you were good enough and you're a 16 seed and you get all the way to the finals.
No, that's what I'm saying. But I don't want to hear about, like, they stole our players and we can't compete. Now we can't make it to the Sweet 16 anymore. I don't want to hear that anymore. You know what I mean? The best will move on, and let's that'd be that.
The thing about this rule that I like is capitalism, Donnie. If you're good at something and you can find a way to make money at it, you can go do that. And there are going to be people out there that will shine with this. There will be people out there that get 300, 400, 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. And then there'll be people that don't. It's like this business, Donnie. People reach out to me and say, hey, big man, how did you get so many followers? Or Donnie, how'd you get so many followers? Well, because we've been doing this for a while and we've found ways to get noticed and things like that. If you want something, you'll get it. That's why this country's great, and there's a lot of ingenuity in capitalism. Because if you want something, it doesn't matter who you are. You could be my father, Donnie, he's had 15 kids in his family. He didn't go to high school, and he did well for himself. He worked and he did it. That's the great thing about this. If you're a fencing student and you know how to sword fight, you could teach kids how to do that and maybe get them interested and make some money off it. That's how it should be. Donnie, great stuff. Great topic. As always, we wrap up the week here on Hot Topics. It's been an interesting one. We had NFL draft coverage. We wrapped that up. We talked a little NBA and what the future is with that. Donnie, maybe Monday we will analyze Woj, who wrote a piece about all this. And, of course, you had the normal suspects
Yeah.
jumping out of the woodwork and saying it's not going to happen, like big Brian Windhorst, who seemingly doesn't ever want NBA to come back because for some reason, doesn't he make money off NBA news? I don't understand the point there, but we'll get into maybe that on Monday. We'll start to look forward a little bit. Maybe, Donnie, we'll have some MLB news coming down. And
Hopefully.
do we maybe start handicapping NASCAR? I already do. Maybe we'll get Donnie to do it as well. And next Friday, I'm going to say this now. I have a topic for next Friday already,
All right.
and we're going to talk about it. Everyone have a great weekend. Thanks for checking us out here on PubSportsRadio.com. Make sure you check it out now. We'll see you Monday here on PubSports Radio's Hot Topic.